Hello everyone, this is Erik, the Asian movie enthusiast, and this is my review of Revenge, a Love Story, a Hong Kong thriller from 2010 that was produced by 852 Films, a film production company that was started by actress Josie Ho, who starred in one of the most popular titles from this studio, Dream Home, which is a very violent horror film. Revenge, a Love Story, which came out the same year, is perhaps not surprisingly a very violent thriller that is probably even more mean-spirited than Dream Home. So this is about a serial murderer who has brutally killed several policemen and their pregnant wives. After a quick investigation, the murderer is revealed to be Kit, whom the case's detective in charge knows from a previous case. Once upon a time, Kit was an innocent boy in a rural village who also had a crush on a naive high school student. After the death of her grandmother, Kit rescues her from a foster care facility, and the two quickly fall in love. However, the romance ends prematurely, and the events that follow lay the seeds for Kit's terrifying path of murder. So this is a pretty gritty, sadistic thriller. It has some pretty disturbing stuff in it, like disembowelments, sexual assault, and other kinds of bloody death scenes. So, as quickly as the opening 20 minutes, we get multiple corpse shots, a gruesome fetus imagery, a chase scene, and a torture scene. So, very early on, you're going to have an idea of what this movie is like and where it's going. If you enjoy the beginning section of the film, you'll probably be happy with this one because the nastier death scenes are actually saved for later on. Revenge, a Love Story does have an exploitative feel to it, even though it leans pretty hard on the dramatic basis for the revenge. Like I mentioned previously, this is a mean-spirited film, not something that I would describe as like purely entertaining, if only because some of the violence is kind of hard to sit through, difficult to watch. So I think that it really goes kind of all out on the violence at times, but the character work is not complex enough to really make it like high art. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I think it has like an exploitation edge to it. The dramatic elements and the character development are pretty basic. Not a lot of depth in those aspects, but there are some surprises, especially in how this murderer escapes police custody at one point. The ending is also rather unusual and unexpected. Conflict is very strong, though. That's what drives this film, transforming the antagonist early on into kind of an anti-hero by the second half. And the middle section is probably like the slowest part of the film, but even during the middle section, there's a tension that's omnipresent, and that's actually accentuated with repeat viewings because you actually know what's coming, and it's not pleasant, and you're like not looking forward to it even more than when you're watching it the first time. So it's kind of odd, but it works. In terms of flaws, I do think outside of maybe the lack of character depth and complexity, there are a few moments, just a few, of like illogical character decision making. Like there's a scene where one character can easily kill his enemy and finish him off because his enemy has been injured pretty badly, but he just decides to like stop, and he says something like, "All right, if you live through this, come and find me, and then I'll finish you off." You know, it was kind of weird, that scene. I didn't really like that one. You know, I was the whole time like, dude, just kill the guy. Like, why are you waiting? You know, this is like heavy stuff here. We're fighting for our lives. Just kill the dude. But that only happens like once or twice in the film, so it's not a huge deal. There are also a few odd edits that skip certain events. Like there's a scene where the girl is taken to her mental clinic or whatever, or foster care home. She's not allowed to leave. It's a forced stay. But then she just kind of escapes, you know, without it actually being shown. Like, you know what happened. They inference what happened. But, like, I would have liked to have seen her, like, escape. You know what I mean? It was a little weird. It's like all of a sudden she's, like, out. I'm like, oh, okay. You know? And there are a few little time jumps here and here that are a little awkward as well. But a lot of those are kind of nitpicks, you know? Color scheme is muted heavily at times. It's almost like the filmmakers wanted to drain the life out of the visuals sometimes, and it is thematically consistent with the story. I do think that Revenge, a Love Story it's not a movie that I will be rewatching on a regular basis, if only because it's not quite as purely entertaining as some of like the crazy Hong Kong Category 3 movies from like the 80s and 90s. I do recommend this, though, because it is a good movie, and it's intense, and it achieves its goals. But you need to be in a particular kind of mood. You know, it's a pretty harrowing tale that will satisfy viewers who are looking for like an intense, disturbing, downbeat experience. So just keep that in mind. But if you're in the mood for that, definitely check it out. I think it's a good flick. Available on physical media, and you can also find it on Amazon and eBay. I think the DVD is out. I'm not sure if it's on Blu-ray yet. And as always, I will see you next time.